morning, Harmony and Consolidated. It is Mr. Calvert again, sitting in my backyard. It is Tuesday. Kind of cloudy out right now, but it is warm, so hopefully you guys get outside and play a little bit today. I think it's supposed to rain later on, possibly. I'm hoping that this first week of our online learning, since things have changed, are going all right for you. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a new artist of the day, and her name is Swoon. And you might be thinking, Swoon, that's a weird name. Well, that is because her actual name is Caledonia Curry. But she is a street artist, and oftentimes street artists actually use a different name. And part of the reason for that is if they are making street art, oftentimes that is illegal, and if they get caught, they're put in jail. So they'll use a different name, so that way people don't know who they are when they're making their work. Now, Swoon, she's 42 years old, so she's a contemporary artist. She's still alive. And she is from Connecticut. Excuse me. And she is from Connecticut. Now, her name Swoon was something that actually came from her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had a dream one night that they were out making artwork and that she was signing her name as Swoon, and that kind of stuck. So since then, she's used that as her name that she goes by when she makes street art. Remember that you can't go out and make street art. You have to have permission to do something like that. Otherwise, what you're doing is illegal. So her artwork used to be illegal because she did not have permission. But now, since she's really become famous for her work, I'm sure she probably has permission to do a lot of it. Now, her street art's very different than what we're used to. Typically, when we think of street art, we think of people painting or spray painting on the side of a wall. What she makes are huge prints. And remember, a print is like a stamp. So she makes huge stamps that are like bigger than a person. And she does this by carving out pieces of wood, and then she puts ink on it and prints it or stamps it onto a huge sheet of paper. So here is where she's from, Connecticut, right there. New London, Connecticut. We would be right about here in the bottom part of Wisconsin. Now, when she makes her huge prints, then she has to use something called wheat paste. And wheat paste is kind of like a glue. So she puts wheat paste on a wall and then actually glues it to the wall. Okay. Typically, when we look at her artworks, we see pictures of people. She's very drawn to portraits of her friends and family, or also people that she finds on the street. And a lot of times she'll put her artwork in places where there aren't a lot of people. And part of the reason is because she obviously doesn't want people to see her while she is putting up her artwork. She doesn't want to get caught. But something that we see a lot with street artists is the reason that they like to make their artwork a lot of times is because it's something that anybody can see. It's not like going to a museum or an art gallery where oftentimes you have to pay to go see artwork. By putting stuff on the street, anybody can see it, whether you're rich or poor, man or woman, white or black or brown. So typically street artists, they want everybody to have the chance to see and experience art, which is something I really appreciate about their artwork. Now, when we look at her work, I said typically we see people in her work. Sometimes we see multiple people. Oftentimes, too, we see just a couple colors. We'll see black, white, and then she might choose just 2 or 3 different colors to use in her work. So here we see kind of a magenta and then a sky blue. We also see a lot of patterns in her work, too. Okay, we see lots of it on this white, on the blue, on the magenta, these little hexagons and other shapes, which are pretty cool. And her artworks are very, very large. So here we see it up on a wall. Okay, they're not little artworks. Remember we said that her prints are oftentimes bigger than people. So the pieces of wood that she's carving are huge. Okay, and then after they've printed it, they cut that stamp out and then glue it to the wall. Here's another one. See a man, looks like he's putting something on top of what it looks like a building. So a lot of times she changes the proportion of things, making people bigger or smaller than some things. And one more. Once again, this one does a really good job of showing those awesome patterns kind of on this clothing or fabric that's around them. Okay, and just a couple accents of color. We see some greens, some blues, some pinks down here. Right, but that is Swoon. Remember, she is a street artist. Kind of cool because we don't see a lot of female street artists. Typically, a lot of men do that. But Swoon is probably one of the more famous ones. All right, hope you guys enjoyed learning about Swoon. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.